Welcome back to N's NotebookLM. Today, we're diving into the core ideas from a pretty fascinating book called The Ozone Miracle. Now, it makes a really bold claim that the real secret to health isn't just about what you eat or how much you exercise, but it's about how our bodies use the very oxygen we breathe. So let's break down what that actually means.
We all think we know the answer to this one, right? Eat your greens, get some cardio in. But what if there's something even more fundamental going on? This book suggests there's a single underlying factor that it claims can determine our vulnerability to pretty much every disease out there.
So before we even get to the whole ozone part, the book sets the stage by focusing on a different O, oxygen. The whole idea is that there's this quiet crisis happening inside our cells that most of us are completely unaware of.
The entire book is built around this one crucial concept, oxygen utilization. See, it's not just about getting oxygen into your body, it's all about how well your cells can actually use that oxygen to make energy. This, the author argues, is the real engine of our health.
Think of it like this. You can have perfect lungs and be breathing the cleanest mountain air. That's just intake. But if your cells are inefficient at converting that oxygen into cellular fuel, you're basically running on a low battery all the time. That conversion process, that's utilization.
And this is where we get to the book's most staggering claim. After measuring thousands of patients, the author says that 100% of them, every single patient with a chronic disease, showed a significant drop in their oxygen utilization. That one statistic is the bedrock for everything else in the book.
Okay, so if poor oxygen utilization is the problem, what's the proposed solution in the book? Well, this is where we finally get to ozone, which is described as a kind of supercharged oxygen.
So what exactly is medical ozone? It's O3. It's a molecule with 3 oxygen atoms instead of the stable 2 that we breathe, which is O2. The book calls it supercharged because that extra, 3rd atom makes the whole molecule unstable and really reactive. And apparently, that reactivity is the secret to its power.
Okay, I know what you're thinking, because this is the first thing that comes to mind for most people. We hear about high ozone days on the news and we're told to stay inside. So how can something we connect with city smog possibly be a good thing?
Well, according to the book, the key difference is what the ozone is mixed with. In smog, the real danger comes from this toxic soup of hydrocarbons and nitrates that the ozone is floating around in. Medical-grade ozone, on the other hand, is made from pure medical-grade oxygen. It has nothing else in it.
And you know, this idea isn't even new. The book points out that this has a long history, going all the way back to 1785. In fact, by the late 1800s, none other than Nikola Tesla was deeply involved, even patenting his own medical ozone generator and starting a company to sell them.
All right, so if we can accept for a moment that medical ozone is different from smog, the next big question is, what does the book claim it actually does inside our bodies? How does it all work?
This is the really fascinating part. The book explains that ozone itself is gone in a flash, like instantly. But in that instant, it reacts with your tissues and creates these other molecules, mainly peroxides, which the book just calls ozonides. And it's these molecules that stick around for days or even weeks, producing all the long-term therapeutic effects.
So what do these ozonides do? Well, the book claims they kick off this whole cascade of positive effects. The most important one, of course, is that they directly address the main problem by improving oxygen utilization. But they also seem to stimulate other key systems like your immune system, your circulation, and even your body's own antioxidant defenses.
That all sounds pretty good in theory, but what does it actually look like in the real world? Let's take a quick look at some of the ways ozone therapy is actually applied, at least as they're described in the book.
So in practice, the book goes over a whole bunch of different applications, and each one is designed for a different purpose. It can be as simple as just drinking ozonated water or as immersive as a full-body ozone sauna. And then there are other methods that target very specific areas like the ears or the intestines.
Now, the author is super clear about this point. Because ozone is so reactive, if you use the wrong equipment, stuff made from materials that aren't resistant to ozone, you can create toxic byproducts. The book warns over and over again that any application absolutely requires a high-quality, medical-grade generator and a source of pure oxygen, never just the air in the room.
So to kind of wrap this all up, the book doesn't present ozone as some kind of magic bullet. Instead, it's shown as one powerful piece of a much larger, more holistic picture of health.
The author uses this fantastic analogy of a train. He says that oxygen metabolism, how well you use oxygen, that's the engine. It's the most important part, the thing that pulls everything else forward.
But, an engine all by itself doesn't make for a very useful train, does it?
To really have a working train, you need the other cars. The book says these are things like circulation, which delivers the fuel to the engine. You need detoxification to keep the whole system running clean. Nutrition provides the actual building blocks for everything. And managing stress, well, that's what keeps the whole train from derailing.
And that's really the core message. The book argues that improving your body's ability to use oxygen is like giving the engine of your health a massive upgrade. It's a foundational, powerful change, but it works best when it's pulling a well-maintained train, when it's supported by a complete, healthy lifestyle.
If this topic has captured your interest and you'd like to dive deeper, the book is called The Ozone Miracle by Dr. Frank Shallenberger. It definitely leaves you with a compelling thought. What if the biggest lever we can pull for our health isn't some new supplement or exotic diet, but just getting better at using the one thing we already have all around us? Oxygen.